broadcasting and radio. And
After years of silence, estranged half-sister Samantha Markle is finally speaking out, claiming she knows the real reason Meghan Markle cut off her entire family. The ongoing feud has captivated the world, shining a spotlight on the private tensions behind the Sussexes' glamorous public life. But are Samantha's explosive claims the full truth, or just one side of a much deeper family story?
No, we were kind of puzzled when both sides of the family were kept away from the royal wedding, and we started wondering, what's up with this? Like, why?
You've probably seen the headlines and viral clips by now, and let's be honest, this whole Meghan Markle family feud has become one of those subjects that people just can't stop talking about. From Hollywood actress to Duchess of Sussex to a global household name, Meghan's life has been under the spotlight for years. But today we're diving into something a bit more personal. Why her half-sister Samantha Markle says Meghan cut off her entire biological family. It's messy, it's emotional, and it's been unfolding over more than a decade. So let's rewind a little. Meghan grew up in a split family household in California. Her father, Thomas Markle Sr., has 3 kids from different relationships: Meghan, Samantha, and their other half-brother, Thomas Jr. Most of Meghan's formative years were split between these family ties, but as she grew older, those connections became more complicated. Once Meghan's relationship with Prince Harry began, and then turned into an engagement, things started to change dramatically. The once close family was suddenly very far apart, both emotionally and geographically. What makes this drama even more tense is how public it's played out, with interviews, lawsuits, and mutual accusations filling tabloid pages and social feeds.
When you have a wedding and people start drinking champagne at the reception, they start talking.
Right.
So what could the motive be for keeping both sides of the family away?
That's right.
The stories would come out. So
Enter Samantha Markle. Until recently, she mostly stayed on the fringes of public attention, but her profile suddenly shot up again when she sat down for an interview on Australian TV's Channel 7's Spotlight with Taylor Auerbach to talk about why she believes Meghan cut off her entire family. This wasn't just a throwaway interview. Samantha brought emotion, history, and some pretty explosive claims to the table. What she says sheds light on her side of the story, and she insists she knows the real reason behind the estrangement. Samantha's basic message was simple. She says that as soon as Meghan's relationship with Prince Harry got serious, Meghan began distancing herself from her father's side of the family. According to Samantha, it wasn't just a gradual cooling off, it was a deliberate cutoff. Samantha claims that Meghan essentially decided her family wasn't good enough for the royal family. She says that what her family would have told Harry or the royal institution wouldn't have jived with the truth. In other words, Samantha believes Meghan chose to reject her family because it could have raised uncomfortable questions or didn't align with the polished image expected by the royals. Now, whether you take that at face value depends on whose side you're on, but it's a big claim. Samantha frames Meghan's actions not just as distance, but as almost a status-based rejection, like Meghan chose royal glamour over her real relatives. And for Samantha, that's hurtful beyond measure. She has said she hasn't seen Meghan in over a decade, and their last real encounter was just a day and a half long. That's a shockingly short time for 2 people who once shared the same family life.
to other journalists, we found out that there were a lot of porcupines probably told to the royals and even to Harry when they met her, and in order to cover up, oh my God.
During the Spotlight interview, Samantha didn't hold back. She didn't just talk about the cutoff. She talked about how she believes Meghan's life before fame and before Harry was actually supported in big ways by their father. Samantha claimed their father paid for every penny of Meghan's upbringing, including her schooling, something that contradicts certain narratives about Meghan being completely self-made before her Hollywood success. While critics might question the tone and delivery, Samantha insists this part of the story matters because it underlines her belief that Meghan's royal transformation came with a price, losing her own family. And this isn't the first time Samantha has spoken out publicly. She's been doing interviews for years, often taking to American TV and tabloid platforms to voice her frustrations. Part of her anger, she says, isn't just about not talking. It's about feeling ignored and replaced. She's pointed out that Meghan didn't keep in touch with her siblings or her father during important personal moments, and she feels like Meghan erased them from her life once the royal circle demanded it. That feels to Samantha like a deep betrayal, not just of family ties, but of roots. Samantha also described what she sees as Meghan's motivations behind all of this. She says Meghan's pursuit of royal life and status made her abandon people who genuinely cared about her. In Samantha's view, Meghan chose to redefine her identity by cutting off those who knew her long before the fame, the title, or the global spotlight. For many listeners, that hits a chord because it's something that happens in real life too. People sometimes walk away from old relationships in pursuit of success. But in this case, it's been magnified on a royal scale stage, with millions around the world watching each development. One of the most striking parts of Samantha's claims was when she talked about truth and image. She says that what her family might have told the royals, or to Harry directly, wouldn't have fit with the image Meghan wanted to cultivate, implying that honesty about their family's flaws simply didn't match the royal brand Meghan was building. That's a scorching allegation, especially since Meghan has spent much of her public life defending her own narrative about family relationships, saying at times she had barely any contact with her half-siblings and that they weren't close even before things went south. Of course, Meghan hasn't been silent in the face of all this. She's consistently maintained that she was never particularly close to Samantha, and hasn't been for many years. In fact, she once said that the last time she saw Samantha was in her early 20s, and she hadn't had significant contact since. Meghan even pointed out that Samantha reportedly only changed her last name back to Markle when Meghan started dating Harry, suggesting opportunism rather than family closeness. That claim ran into controversy at the time, and the resulting lawsuit Samantha filed against Meghan was ultimately dismissed by a Florida judge who ruled that Samantha's claims were opinions and not provably false statements. Something else worth mentioning is that this rift isn't just between sisters. It's echoed in the strained relationship with their father, Thomas Markle. Over the years, Thomas has made emotional pleas for reconciliation and has shared how deeply he misses his daughter. In late 2025, Thomas suffered a serious medical emergency and had part of his leg amputated, and reports say Meghan did attempt to reach out privately to him by email and later by a handwritten letter. Whether those attempts were ever fully received or acknowledged publicly is a contentious point, with family members offering conflicting accounts. So where does that leave us? Well, Samantha's version of events paints a picture of a sister who feels deeply wronged and pushed aside for a different kind of life. A life that embraced royal expectations and royal image over family loyalty. She believes the decision to cut ties was calculated, status-driven, and revealed a side of Meghan that most of the world never sees. Whether you agree with Samantha or see the situation differently, her claims add a raw and emotional layer to the story, one that helps explain why this feud has lasted so long and why it continues to capture public attention.
Get grants and scholarships. You never worked for the embassy. What do you mean you only did a 5-week study program? So our Uncle Mike, who worked...
At the end of the day, what we're really looking at is a family torn apart by fame, expectations, and competing narratives. Samantha Markle insists she knows the real reason Meghan cut off her family. But Meghan's supporters, and Meghan herself, have repeatedly said their relationship was never close to begin with. It's a clash of perspectives that's as human as it is headline-grabbing, and it's one that isn't likely to be settled anytime soon. You know, it's really wild how much the Markle family drama has captivated the world over the years. Meghan Markle went from being a Hollywood actress to the Duchess of Sussex, and now she's a global household name. But while most of the world has been watching her fairy tale rise, there's been a lot going on behind the scenes with her family, especially her half-sister, Samantha Markle. Recently, Samantha sat down for a very revealing interview, and she didn't hold back about why she thinks Meghan cut off her entire family. And honestly, it's one of those stories that's messy, complicated, and heartbreaking all at the same time. Samantha has been vocal about this for years, but in her latest interview, she was more direct than ever. She asserts that Meghan deliberately distanced herself from her father and the entire family once she started pursuing life with Prince Harry. According to Samantha, it wasn't just a natural drifting apart. She believes it was a conscious choice made in pursuit of status and a new image. Samantha says that the relationship broke down mainly over what she describes as perceived snobbery and the clash between truth and perception. In other words, Samantha believes that Meghan wanted to present a version of her life that fit the royal mold, and her biological family didn't quite fit into that narrative. Part of Samantha's argument is about credit and acknowledgement. She claims that without their father's support in Meghan's early life, Meghan would still be a waitress. That's a bold statement, but it highlights Samantha's frustration with what she sees as Meghan rewriting her own origin story. In Samantha's eyes, Meghan has downplayed the role her father played in her upbringing, and that's added fuel to the fire. She feels that Meghan's pursuit of fame and royal life came at a steep cost, abandoning the very people who helped her get where she is today. And from Samantha's perspective, that's more than just a personal disappointment. It's a family betrayal. Samantha didn't stop there. She also described Meghan and Harry's relationship as toxic and unhealthy for both of them. She has repeatedly criticized the couple's dynamic and suggested that the constant public scrutiny, combined with their approach to media and fame, has created a lot of tension and pressure in their lives. Samantha has been particularly critical of Meghan's media strategy, arguing that some of her actions and statements have been self-serving or manipulative. She believes that the way Meghan has controlled her public image, especially in interviews and high-profile appearances, has hurt her family and caused further estrangement. This tension between the sisters even spilled over into the legal system. Samantha launched a defamation lawsuit against Meghan, claiming that the Duchess had spread malicious lies about her in interviews and media statements, particularly highlighting the 2021 Oprah Winfrey interview. The case attracted a lot of media attention because it put the family feud in the public spotlight in a very real, legal way. Samantha argued that Meghan had portrayed her in an unfair and damaging manner, using the media to control the narrative and make Samantha appear unsupportive or opportunistic. However, Meghan's legal team successfully got the case dismissed. A Florida judge ruled that Samantha's claims were opinions and therefore could not be proven false. This was a significant victory for Meghan because it reinforced that public disputes over personal relationships often fall into a gray area where opinions and perceptions can't necessarily be litigated. Still, Samantha didn't accept the ruling quietly and decided to appeal, which shows just how deeply personal and public this feud has become. The fact that it played out in courts, with lawyers and judges weighing in, demonstrates that this isn't just tabloid gossip. It's a complex legal and emotional battle that reflects the deep divisions in the family.
As a favor to Dad paid for a 5-week study program. Uncle Mike threw in a letter of recommendation to be kind, even though he'd only...
But beyond the courts and the headlines, Samantha's interview really paints a picture of hurt and frustration. She feels sidelined and erased, believing that Meghan prioritized her royal image over real, lifelong family connections. Samantha's words give a glimpse into how painful it can be when fame, image, and status intersect with family loyalty. She emphasizes that it's not just about disagreements or misunderstandings. She sees it as a deliberate distancing driven by Meghan's choices and ambitions. That's why, from Samantha's perspective, the estrangement isn't accidental. It's a result of deliberate decisions made over years. What makes this even more complicated is the contrast with Meghan's own account of events. Meghan has consistently stated that she was never particularly close to Samantha and hadn't seen her meaningfully for many years. She has also pointed out that their interactions were limited and that Samantha only made certain moves, like changing her last name back to Markle after Meghan's relationship with Harry became public. Meghan's supporters argue that Samantha's accusations are colored by jealousy or a desire for media attention, while Samantha's side emphasizes neglect, lack of recognition, and family hurt. The feud isn't just about sisters either. Their father, Thomas Markle, has also been caught in the middle of this very public drama. Over the years, he has made emotional pleas for reconciliation, expressing his love for Meghan and his disappointment at the estrangement. He has publicly admitted that Meghan once called him her hero, yet somehow he felt thrown out of her life. Recently, after a serious medical emergency that led to the amputation of part of his leg, Meghan reportedly reached out to her father privately via email and letters, which shows that despite years of distance, there might still be room for connection. However, even these attempts have been clouded by media interpretation and conflicting family narratives, leaving the public to wonder what is really true. Through it all, Samantha has remained outspoken and resolute. She continues to share her perspective because she feels it matters, not just for her own vindication, but also to highlight how fame and royal expectations can strain or even destroy family bonds. She frames her claims as a warning about the costs of ambition and the dangers of prioritizing public perception over personal relationships. While the world watches Meghan in glamorous settings, Samantha reminds us that there's a side of the story that's private, painful, and deeply human. Ultimately, the feud between Meghan and Samantha raises broader questions about family, loyalty, and identity. What does it mean to leave your family behind for a new life? Is it ever justified, or is it always a betrayal? Samantha believes the estrangement is deliberate and driven by Meghan's desire to protect her public image and status, while Meghan's supporters maintain that distance was inevitable due to years of limited contact and complex family dynamics. The truth may be somewhere in between, but Samantha's revelations on Channel 7's Spotlight offer a rare and personal glimpse into the side of this story we rarely hear. The perspective of someone who feels left behind, unheard, and overlooked by someone the world adores. In the end, this isn't just a royal story or a Hollywood story. It's a very human story about relationships, choices, and consequences. Samantha Markle's words may be controversial, but they give us a window into the emotional cost of fame and ambition. And whether you agree with her or not, it's clear that the saga between Meghan, Samantha, and the rest of the Markle family is far from over. It's a story that keeps unfolding, reminding us that behind every public figure, there are private family dynamics that are just as complicated, messy, and real as anyone else's.
So, while a 5-week study program that doesn't equate with working at the embassy, which she told Rachel Ray.
You know, the Markle family saga has been one of those stories that never seems to end, right? Meghan Markle's journey from a Hollywood actress to the Duchess of Sussex, and now a global figure, has been under constant scrutiny. But while most people are focused on her life in the spotlight, there's been a quieter, more personal story unfolding, one that involves her half-sister, Samantha Markle. Samantha has always been outspoken, and recently, in a very revealing interview, she claimed she knows the real reason Meghan cut off her entire family. And honestly, it's one of those stories that's messy, emotional, and surprisingly relatable once you strip away the headlines. Samantha's perspective is rooted in years of estrangement and tension. She asserts that Meghan deliberately distanced herself from her father, Thomas Markle, and the rest of the family as she pursued a life with Prince Harry. According to Samantha, the relationship didn't just fade over time. It broke down over perceived snobbery and the clash between truth and image. She believes Meghan wanted to craft a version of herself that fit the expectations of the royal family, and in doing so, she left her biological family behind. From Samantha's point of view, this wasn't a simple case of growing apart. It was a calculated choice, driven by status, ambition, and the desire to maintain a certain image in the public eye. Adding fuel to her argument, Samantha made some pretty bold claims about Meghan's early life. She insists that Meghan would still be a waitress if it weren't for their father's financial support during her formative years. To Samantha, this isn't just about money. It's about recognition and acknowledgement. She feels that Meghan has downplayed the sacrifices and support of her family to present herself as fully self-made, which has only added to the sense of hurt and betrayal she feels. From Samantha's perspective, the pursuit of fame and royal life came at a cost, abandoning the very people who helped her get to where she is today. Samantha also didn't hold back when discussing Meghan and Harry's relationship. She has described the couple's dynamic as toxic and unhealthy for both parties, suggesting that the intense media attention and high-pressure environment of royal life have created stress and tension that trickles down to everyone around them. Samantha has been particularly critical of Meghan's media strategy, pointing out that some of her actions, statements, and carefully curated appearances serve more to protect her image than to maintain family ties. She believes that the way Meghan controls her public narrative has further strained her already fractured relationship with her siblings and father. Of course, this tension escalated to the point of legal action. Samantha launched a defamation lawsuit against Meghan, claiming that the Duchess had spread malicious lies about her in interviews and through media statements, particularly citing the 2021 Oprah Winfrey interview. Samantha argued that Meghan's statements painted her in a negative light, making her appear opportunistic or unsupportive. The lawsuit became a highly publicized battle, drawing global attention because it put the family feud front and center in a legal setting, where facts and opinions are dissected in court. However, Meghan's legal team successfully had the case dismissed. A Florida judge ruled that Samantha's claims were opinions rather than provable false statements, meaning they were not actionable in court. The ruling was a significant victory for Meghan, reinforcing that personal family disputes often involve subjective opinions that the law cannot easily adjudicate. Samantha appealed the decision, showing just how deeply personal and emotionally charged this feud remains. The fact that it unfolded in courts highlights that this isn't just a tabloid story. It's a real and complex conflict between family members, played out under the unrelenting gaze of the public. Samantha's claims also raise questions about the motivations and intentions behind Meghan's actions. She frames the estrangement as a deliberate distancing designed to maintain a certain image, suggesting that Meghan prioritized her public persona and royal expectations over family connections. Samantha feels erased and ignored, believing that Meghan abandoned the people who genuinely cared about her. In her eyes, this isn't just a matter of growing apart. It's about a conscious decision to replace family with fame and status. And for Samantha, that's not only hurtful, it's heartbreaking. On the other side, Meghan has consistently emphasized family privacy. She has previously said that she has not had a meaningful relationship with Samantha for many years. From Meghan's perspective, the distance isn't necessarily a betrayal, but rather a reflection of a relationship that was never particularly close. She has also explained in past interviews that Samantha only changed her last name back to Markle after Meghan's relationship with Prince Harry became public. Meghan interpreted this as a sign of opportunism rather than genuine familial closeness, further complicating the narrative. It's one of those situations where perception matters as much as fact, and both sides seem to feel misunderstood and misrepresented. Adding another layer to this story is Meghan's recent outreach to her father, Thomas Markle, following a serious health crisis. Meghan's spokesperson confirmed that she reached out after Thomas suffered a significant medical emergency, demonstrating that her actions in private may differ from public perception. This move illustrates the complexity of family dynamics. Even when relationships appear fractured and distant, there may still be attempts at connection and care behind the scenes. Yet because the Markle family is constantly in the media spotlight, every private gesture becomes fodder for public debate, making reconciliation or privacy exceedingly difficult. Samantha's narrative, however, remains unyielding. She feels that Meghan's pursuit of royal life and her careful management of public perception came at the expense of familial relationships. From Samantha's point of view, Meghan's distance is about image and ambition rather than circumstance or accident. She believes the estrangement is deliberate, calculated, and a reflection of the pressures and expectations that come with being part of a royal family. For her, it's not just a personal story. It's a cautionary tale about what can happen when fame, ambition, and status take precedence over the bonds of family.
Television. So all of these lies started coming out, but we didn't know that she had told the royal family so many porky pies. So it makes sense. Oh my God.
The story of Meghan and Samantha also highlights broader themes that are relatable on a human level. It raises questions about loyalty, family dynamics, and the consequences of life choices. How much should ambition shape our relationships? When is it okay to step away from family? And when does it become harmful? These are questions many of us have grappled with in smaller, less public ways, which is perhaps why this feud resonates so strongly with audiences. Samantha's perspective provides a rare glimpse into the emotional cost of fame and public scrutiny, reminding us that behind every media headline, there are real people with real feelings. Ultimately, this saga isn't just about Meghan or Samantha. It's about a family caught between love, resentment, perception, and reality. Samantha Markle's revelations give the world insight into a side of Meghan that is rarely seen. The sister who felt left behind, misunderstood, and replaced by ambition and royal expectations. Whether you agree with Samantha or see the situation differently, her words remind us that family disputes are often complicated, messy, and deeply personal. They also show that even when someone is in the public eye, with all the glamour and recognition that comes with it, family dynamics remain a powerful and sometimes painful force. At the end of the day, Samantha's claims, Meghan's responses, and the media's attention all combine to create a story that is as much about human emotions as it is about celebrity and royalty. It's a reminder that fame can amplify conflicts that would otherwise stay private, and it highlights the delicate balance between public image and personal relationships. The truth may never be fully known to the public, but Samantha Markle's interview has certainly provided a compelling and emotional perspective on why Meghan may have cut off her entire family, showing that behind every public figure, there's a private story waiting to be understood.